Hello and welcome to another video. So in this video we'll be looking at comparison operators in Python, right? So we have operators that is used to compare two values and derive an answer from it. For example, if we need to compare two numbers, let's say, to see which is greater, right? So we can use such comparison operators like greater than, lesser than and all in Python. So we will start with a simple comparison, right? So in the Boolean video, we have already seen how to compare two numbers, and we have seen what the output of those would be too. We're going to see that again here. So if I give print of, let's say, 7 greater than 5, so I should get a true value, right? I will run this and I'm getting the value as true. Now what we can understand with this particular true is that if I give 7 greater than 5, and this comparison operator right here, it'll compare the number on the left and the number on the right, and if the number on the left is greater than the number on the right, it will give the value as true, right? The whole expression, the value of the whole expression would be true, right? So this is the this is how a comparison operator works, right? So if it is false, again we have checked that as well. So let's say 3 greater than 5, which is obviously false, so I should get a false statement, right? So this is how a comparison operator works. Okay, so we will see the different types of comparison operator that is there in Python. So the first thing is greater than, and the next thing is we also have less than, right? So 7 less than 5, we should be getting two falses. With we're getting two false, right? So this is greater than, this is less than. I will mention it here. This is greater than, and this right here is less than. So this is greater than, this is less than, and there is something called equals to, right? So equals to is actually comparing two different values if they are equal to each other, right? So yeah, I have let's say 5 equal to 5. Okay, so this is true. I should be getting a true value. So this would be my equals to comparator, right? So a single equal to would be an assignment operator, and a double equal to would be a comparison operator, right? So I will run this and I have a false and a true, so which means my 5 is equal to 5. And if I have any other number, my output would be false and false, right? So 5 is not equal to 2, and hence we do not get a true value, we get a false value, right? So the next thing we'll be doing is we will be looking at not equal to as well, right? So not equal to is a comparison operator in Python, and it is written with an exclamatory and an equal to, right? So this is how we write not equal to. I'll mention this right here. So not equal to, and we'll run this and we'll see what the output is. So let me clear the output, and yeah, so false and true. So 5 is not equal to true, which is true. 5 is not equal to 2, which is true, and when we print that value, we get it as true, right? So if 5 is not equal to 5, I should be getting a false. So we'll check that as well. So all are false. So now you understand what not equal to is, right? So we'll move on to the next type of comparison operator, which is OR, right? So OR is a comparative operator, and that compares the Boolean values between two different expressions, right? So let's say true or false, right? So true or false will give me a value that is the evaluation of this expression in a Boolean format, right? So for OR will actually give me an output if I have let's say two operands, A or B, and if either of A or B is true, then A or B, the whole value of that expression would be true, right? So if A is true and B is false, I will get the answer as true. If A is false, B is true, I'll get the answer as true as well. And if both are true, I'll get the answer as true. and if both are false, only then will I get a false value, right? So true or false. So either one of them should be true for this whole value to be true, right? So I will mention it here. So this is OR. So I will run this, I'll clear the output, I will run this. I have the true value, which means one of my value is true, so the evaluation of this is true, right? So both of my values are true, and this should also give me a true as the output. Yes, I'm getting true as the output. Now I will give both of the value as false. The only condition when OR will give a false value, and we'll check that. Yes, I get a false. So this is how OR works. Coming to the next type, which is AND. So print AND works similar to that of OR, but there's a small change in the outputs it gives, right? So false and false will give a false in OR, and that is the same for AND also. But in AND, if either one of the value is false, the whole thing becomes false, right? So in true, if either one is true, the whole thing becomes true. In AND, if either one is false, the whole expression becomes false, right? So true and false will give me a false value, false and true will again give me a false value, false and false will give me a false value, true and true is the only thing that will give me a true value, right? So I'll give true and true here, and I'll mention it, and ampersand will give me the AND, clear the output, and yes, the last value is true, right? So this is true because both are true, and if either one of them is false, my output should be false. Yes, I get the answer as false. So this is how AND works. And there are two small topics that we'll be seeing now. So the first thing is how to use this in a multiple way, right? So let's say I have two variables. Say A is cloudy and B is rainy, right? So if my A is cloudy and my B is rainy, I need to wear a jacket, right? So I hope you understand how this code works. If A is cloudy, now I'm checking an equals to, so I have double equals to here, and B is rainy. So if B is rainy, then we'll have a true. A is cloudy, then we'll have a true. So two trues in an AND will give me a true, right? So if that is true, I should wear a jacket, right? So what is the answer that we get right now? What is the output? Okay, so here we need to use ampersand, right? We'll put this under brackets so that we don't get confused here. Okay, so now we'll run and see if there's any error. No, there's no error. Okay, so the problem that occurred there was cloudy and B got compared, right? So because I don't have a bracket there, so ampersand cannot compare a string and variable, right? So ampersand is between two different boolean values. So if A is cloudy and B is rainy, so this is true, and my answer is true, so wear a jacket, right? So you can use this to create complex logics, to understand what are the mathematical applications that these have, right? So these can be used with each other also. Okay, so the next thing that we need to be understanding is short circuiting, right? For example, instead of AND here, if I have an OR, right? So and if I have another OR, and I have, let's say, true, right? So what my answer should be, so or between these two would be true, because true and true will give me a true, and true again will give me a true. But Python in this way is intelligent. It won't calculate all the values here and then compare all the values. If it has like a series of ors or a series of logical statements that will only compound with each other and won't change in the midway, right? So the answer would be taken only after the first calculation, right? So if it is, this is true, it means the whole equation is true, right? So this process of calculating a smaller portion of a complex logical structure so that the answer does not change, the answer becomes very simple, is called short circuiting, right? Short circuiting. So obviously one disadvantage is that you will not be able to observe this in real time. So this happens within Python, right? So we have var jacket, because this is true, this is true, and this is true. So what Python does is it short circuits the whole logical equation to this particular value that is true, and we get the answer, right? So this is done in order to make complex logical calculations a lot faster, right? So hope you understood this, and see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.